Hello, everybody. Rob Cootie here, the MLM Solution. Today is Wednesday. It is June the 16th, and it's currently 10:55 and 45 seconds Eastern Standard Time. And as you know, each and every day, we go live on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And you can find us on those platforms by simply using hashtag TheMLMSolution, hashtag TheMLMSolution. And if you're out and about on the internet, please take a moment to share that hashtag with our fellow network marketers so they can be exposed to this information as well. That way they can be empowered to do amazing things with this wonderful business model. And you can be a part of that positive process and that impact on their lives by simply sharing hashtag TheMLMSolution. And while you're at it, go to our website, TheMLMSolution.net, and simply take a second or two to hit the share button to do the same thing, to share with the world our platforms, our information, our website, so that other people can be empowered. Everybody wants to make a positive impact on this world. Well, guess what? It's simple as making a click, and you can impact somebody's life. All right, that being said, we have an interesting topic today. It is podcast number 200, Retrospective and the Future. We're going to be talking about the exciting things that are coming down the road as we take this podcast and all of our websites to a higher level. You guys have been fantastic. The response has been overwhelming. We continue to get strong support. So we are moving forward in an aggressive way, and you can join us today to find out how that can impact you. All right, with that being said, I'm going to hop off of here. As I said, please stay tuned as we go live here very shortly, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you in a moment.
Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Cootie and Marie Cannon.
Here we go, our 200th episode. Hey!
There, woo!
My margarita. Hey, there you go. My victory cigar, my margarita, and also how you like them apples? How you like them apples there, girl? There you go. All right. I told you I'd do you this time.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, congratulations, Rob. 200 episodes is a lot to get to. I don't remember which episode we were on when I actually joined in, but I know you were going for a while before I got on here.
I reset the timer. It is actually 200.
Oh, really? Is it 200 with the two of us?
That is correct.
Oh, this has been going on longer than I thought then.
Yeah. I did about 3 or 4 months before, just to test the waters. And the response was very good. But I knew I could only take it so far as an individual. And, if you look at all the big shows that make it big, most of them, the large percentage of them, have what we have. So it was
have a sidekick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I don't have the most how would you say energetic or the most how would I say engaging personality. And so, I'm kind of monotone, and the voice gets old after a while. Even people with great radio voices get interrupted by playing songs. Right? So you have to realize your limitations. And you can't be as they say, an island unto yourself, right? You have to reach out and expand. So, you know what? You got to surround yourself with great people, and that's what I did. Is I got a hold of you, which you're a great person, and we're going to do some wonderful things in the very near future. So,
well, I appreciate that. Thought it'd be fun to share with folks who may not have caught on our Freelance Friday episodes. We talk about this every once in a while, but you and I have kind of quite the history, don't we? I want to say we met way back in 2005.
I would say that's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was at a Mike Dillard event in Austin.
Yes, that's correct.
And as I recall at the time, I don't remember specifically how we met, whether it was like during the sessions or on a break or whatever, but we got to talking. And at the time, you were working on your book, What Not to Do in Network Marketing.
That's correct.
Which is one of our most popular things out in our store. So
that's right.
If anybody wants to check that out, you want to visit TheMLMSolution.net. And check out that What Not to Do in Network Marketing. Of course, it sounds a little bit negative, but what happens when you talk about what you're not supposed to do? Well, you learn what you are supposed to do. So you get to learn some of those mistakes that we've learned the hard way, right? And you were working on the book at the time, and I offered to do a read through and edit of it for you. And that's kind of how we started.
That's right.
Started our business relationship working together.
That's right.
Kept in touch throughout the years, and then you came to me and you're like, hey, I'm doing this podcast. I could use like a sidekick. And I'm like, woohoo, sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised you were that enthusiastic. I mean, let's be honest, the podcast, most people don't understand what a podcast is. And I guess you did. But they're a unique animal, and there's no guarantee that they're going to catch traction. So I was kind of surprised that you were willing to do that. But yes, you had a part in the What Not to Do product. I was so grateful back then, and still am, that you were willing to take the time out of your day to proofread it and make suggestions. And a lot of the suggestions that you made were actually incorporated into the book. So like anything else, the one thing I can say, one of my strengths is that I don't try to do everything myself. I do try to surround myself with people that can get things done. And if you're like me, Miss Marie, sometimes, and I know you do, you tell somebody to go do something, when they come back, it may not be exactly as you wanted, but it might be 85, 90%. Well, I'm willing to tweak it without offending them. And I'm tickled pink. I'll take that 90%. And you did help me a lot with that product. And I'm very grateful and thank you for it.
Oh, absolutely. It was my pleasure. And that's one of the things that, the network marketing industry is really about, right? Leveraging other people's efforts.
That's right.
Because you can only do so much on your own, but once you start partnering with others and putting forth that effort, you can grow exponentially. So like I always say, it's an industry that gives the average person an opportunity to earn a better than average income more easily than any other method that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's easy. It's simple, right? We have the 5 simple steps, and we talk about all the different things that go into building a business, and it truly is a business. So it takes time, money, effort to build that business. It's not a get rich quick scheme by any means. It's most certainly not a scam. Plenty of people have made really good livings as, part of this industry. And we're here to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, as we always say. So people have the best information possible to leverage it to their advantage and achieve their dreams and the level of success that they're after. So it's exciting to be part of this. And yeah, at the time it was like, well, is this going to work or not? How long is it going to go on? Who knows? But you never know until you try. And sometimes you don't get into a groove until you actually start doing it. Now, had you asked me before we talked, had I ever thought about doing a podcast or becoming a podcaster? No. But I will tell you, one of the things I always thought would be a super fun job would be being a radio DJ. And this is a little bit similar, without the music. Although we play a little bit every once in a while.
Yeah, we do. We do. You're right. And there's no telling what the future may hold. You may get your DJ wish before you know it. Because to be honest with you, Miss Marie, without exposing too much of the future talk, I have envisions of taking this to the quote .tv level. And that does not mean that we'll be on TV. That's not what I'm saying. But you never know. But the thing is, and I'm not talking about mainline TV. I'm talking about, where you can have your own channel with today's apps and things like that. You can pretty much create your own channel. So, we really don't know where the future holds. My goal is to be honest with you, build a media empire over the next 15 years, which would include apps and whatever technology is coming down the road. Because, here's the thing, there's always another generation of network marketers coming up, and they need the same information that we're talking about now. You and I may get tired of it. Think of how many times the Rolling Stones played their top hits over a 50-year career. I don't know how they did it, because I'd be like, are you kidding me? We're going to play this song again? How many is this? And the roadie says 1,842. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And yet they go out there and punch out that song, like they wrote it yesterday with the energy and focus and everything. And then my point is that you and I will talk about the same subject matter 10 years from now than we are today, because the truth never changes, right? Just like the song. That song never changes. They sing the same way 1,842 times. And that's what you and I will be doing down if you still hang around. But the point is that you have a situation where you're going to be able to look back and say, my gosh, we've talked about this as many times as I can remember, and yet people still are hungry for it. I hope that will be the case. And when I say a media empire, just to use the different media outlets and platforms that we can to get that message out to as many people across the world as we can.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge subject, right? The breadth of this subject, the topics we can talk about, the different angles we can take on it, the depth we can go into. Obviously on this podcast, we operate at a little bit more of a high level, because our general audience is very much kind of the folks that are new to network marketing, or maybe they're what's known in the industry as retreads. They were in the network marketing industry at one time. It didn't quite work out for them. Now they're coming back and they want to know how to do it, quote unquote, the right way, right? They're a little bit more serious about it this time. So we're really trying to set that foundational base for success for the majority of people. But there is so much more. And a lot of it we won't be able to touch on here because it's too deep, too advanced. But that's what some of our training and the extra stuff we have available on our website is all about. Right.
And, you and I, we're just in our infancy. And, the life, as you and I've talked about many times, the success ladder, you don't know how many rungs are on that success ladder, and life will do that. We don't know how many podcasts we're going to have to do before one day we wake up and we got 1 million followers. We can't project that. We just have to get up every day and say, okay, and just make it a part of our day. And the good thing is you and I have fun doing it. So I never look at it as like, oh gosh, it's another one of these things. I actually look forward to it. So the thing is that there will be a time where, we'll catch traction in a big way. We already are. But once again, where that's going to go, no one knows. But you got to plug away. Like I told someone the other day that said, well, you know what? It's minimal cost. It takes me an hour out of my day. And it, the website, I put a lot of hours in the website right now, but let's be honest, Miss Marie, there's coming a time where the maintenance on the website is going to be minuscule, maybe an hour a day. I'm willing to put in 2 hours a day of my life to make a difference. That leaves me 22 other hours. So, I think it's worth it. Right now we're in the building phase, but there's going to come a time, just like when you put the car in cruise control and you're just kind of cruising along. Every once in a while you'll go up a mountain, or you have to step on the gas. But outside of that, I think we're getting closer and closer to cruise control.
Well, it's interesting because I think like a lot of things in life, we put together kind of this plan, right? And we're sitting at point A and our objective is point B, and we draw this straight line path that we're going to follow between points A and B, right? And then the reality hits and the path actually looks like a 5-year-old scribbled with a crayon on the wall, right? I mean, it's just,
That's a great analogy.
It goes nowhere you expect it to. But it takes some interesting twists and turns, and that's all part of the, enjoy the journey, not just the destination.
That's right. That's very well put. I agree with that 100%. And it's funny, that's a direct opposite of the 5 simple steps, because as our presentation has a point A, horizontal line to point B, with the 5 simple steps in between the two. Point A being where you are today, point B being where you want to go in the very near future. And with the 5 simple steps, the very near future could be a realistic date and time, in the very near future. In other words, you could say, hey, by January of 2024, I want to be making $100,000 a year, and that'd be a realistic goal. And the thing is that you have a direct path. Those 5 simple steps, not the squiggly lines that life puts you through in order to get to your success point. Their journey through network marketing is a whole lot easier than what you and I are doing.
Well, and that's what coaching and mentorship and experience brings to the table, right? You can kind of unravel that twisty trail and make it a more direct route, because you're not like reinventing the wheel, not trying to figure it out along the way and getting distracted by all the shiny little objects off to the side, right? Yeah. You have actually that trail that's been blazed, and it's much easier to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, the thing, we're celebrating the 200th episode today, which really came much sooner than I anticipated, because you and I are so focused every day on just not only life itself, but I won't say ever so slowly, but on a moderate pace of moving this whole venture forward. And you and I have talked about it. There is a vision here. There is an end game. And for our first phase, which is the initial get off the ground, is there any interest phase, we're coming to we're right there. You know what I'm saying? Where we're coming to the end of that phase. And I'm aggressively finishing up our core products, because now you and I know what the people need. They have told us through, I can look at the analytics and I can see what they're clicking on, what they're downloading, what they're watching. And that tells you what they want, the knowledge that they're seeking. And so that's what you and I are doing. We're saying, okay, I see where the interest lies. We need to focus in on that. We need to highlight those things in the future. And so right now I'm looking those over to make sure they're correct. In other words, when I say correct, Miss Marie, as you know, the one thing when I ask you to review something, I say, Miss Marie, please make sure it's clear, concise, to the point. And people walk away saying, I know exactly the point they were making. Because there's no sense in writing material if people don't walk away saying, I know exactly what that was saying. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And, so, you and I in the editing mode, which can take a while, play a critical role in the overall effect that the products are going to have on people. Anybody can throw anything together in an hour, Miss Marie. Anybody can sit down and write, and that's one thing. I remember when I first started this years ago, and I asked other people to review it and, give me some feedback. And they said, well, you're taking too long. And I said, well, You may say that, but I got to make sure, they thought I was trying to be perfect. Well, no. What I had to do, Miss Marie, is, of course, technology was evolving. Videos weren't really popular back then. As you know, when you looked at what not to do, it was mostly audio and ebooks. It wasn't video. And then when video became available, then used in presentations as in combination with a video format, allowed you to now visually show the examples of what you were talking about, which reinforced the point. You know what I'm saying? But you had to have people that you trusted to look at the message, and you had to ask them the number one question: is it clear? Is it concise? Is it telling you what needs to be done? And when they said, "Well, no, not really," then guess what, Miss Marie? Editing takes a long time when you're one person, and when you're doing 146 paragraphs and audios and videos. There's 146 of them there, guys, along with the audio files, and not counting the videos. And that's just one product, Miss Marie.
Well, that's why they say the first draft is always the rough draft, right? Even Stephen King, as great and prolific of a writer as he is, I've heard, I don't know that this is specifically true, but I have heard that he is very heavily edited. Like what he puts out is great conceptually, but in terms of clarity in the writing, his editing team plays a huge role. So you can't underestimate the need for that and the amount of time that can take.
Well, look at the Harry Potter books. Look how big they are, how deep, thick they are.
Yeah.
You can only imagine the editing. And she tried to do that on her own. I think maybe she did in the beginning, like most people that are strapped for money. But as you get bigger and can afford editing teams, you've got to turn it over. And, and kudos to Stephen King because I imagine his original drafts got to be that thick. You just write down what comes to your mind, and then you turn that draft over to an editing team and say, make sense out of this. And you're right. What a great editing team they are. And it's hard sometimes. I heard somebody do it, and they get this. Before I came to you, I hired an editor. And she took out 30 pages and 46 paragraphs. And the thing was, Miss Marie, I put a large percentage of those paragraphs back in. You know why? I think personally, she did a terrible job. Grammatically, she did a great job. But to say that this paragraph is not relevant, she didn't know the industry. And when I sat down and I read it, I thought about it. I didn't automatically, I didn't get mad. And I didn't automatically, I was kind of stunned. But I sat back and of course I had the original draft and I looked at hers and I looked at that. I said, well, there's no way you can't have this subject matter in the book. It has to be addressed. And so there was, the reason of that comment is that there's times, as I said, you can hire professionals, but when you get the product back as the owner and creator of that, you have to ask yourself, what is the overall goal? What am I trying to accomplish here? Is this edited product presenting the material in the proper way where people can get value out of it? And in this particular case, the answer was no. And when you got it, a lot of that had been added back. And it took me another 6 to 7 months, Miss Marie, to correct that whole mess. But what it did do, Miss Marie, it forced me to sit down. I laid all the pages. My whole living room floor was covered in the pages to reorganize, and I edited, move this to chapter number 3, move this one to chapter number 6, delete this paragraph or move this one above the other one. In other words, I went in not only in a horizontal, but also a vertical chronological order. It forced me to reorganize. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too, understandably, the network marketing arena is kind of a specialized niche when it comes to the writing, right? And if you have an editor that's not familiar with the industry, may not recognize the importance of some seemingly minor things that are said. Mm-hmm. So, editors, we like to be a little bit of the grammar Nazi, and we like to whip out that red pen and go, get out of there.
I can't put you in that category. I know you love English. You love the English language and structure and proper this and proper that. But I got to give you credit. Either I did much better than I anticipated, or you were generous You were kind. I'll say that in your editing.
I think it was a magic combination of both. All good.
Okay, I'll take
good.
that. I'll take that. I'll take that. And yes, this is a real margarita. Yes, it is a real Oh, speaking of that, here's my tequila. And this is one of the top brands.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
I thought about busting out some champagne or something, but it's still a little early here.
I didn't think about that, but I even put on my margarita drinking shirt.
Because it's happy hour somewhere.
That's right. So I've got little Sophie here. She's shaking like a leaf. She's obviously in pain. I gave her a pain med. And looks like I'm going to have to take her back. I tell you, it's just one animal after another. One issue. I just got her back, as you know, spent $1,000 at Blue Pearl. And it looks like I'm going to have to go back.
Well, either that or she's just shivering with excitement over us hitting episode 200 and she wanted to participate. So there she is.
Yeah, well, I wish that was true, but I watched their valve movements and see, she's sitting up because she's in pain.
Yeah.
And
poor baby.
Yeah, and she's got those gallstones, and they said to watch her urinary, when she goes potty, to watch her urine, the volume of it. And so I've been noticing that the volume has gone down, but I can't tell if that's because she's not drinking water like she used to, or because that stone's moved. And if it's stones moved, we got an issue, obviously. So we're going to have to get her to the doctor. She's panting. They pant when they're in pain or stress. So another how would you say, fun event, and not fun event, but another one of those challenging events in life, right? That you can't plan for no matter how good you are. And
exactly.
When you have these things come up, it's much like, and I'm trying to think of the word to put it right, and obviously I'm focusing on her and paying attention to her, but it's when you're building your network marketing business, Ms. Marine, you have a sick child. It's no different. You got to pause. Like today, I won't get much done on the business. You know why? Because I'm going to be focused on her. I'm going to be making calls and I'm going to get things done. And you know what? Business is going to take a back seat. If I have to get up at 3 a.m, like I did this morning, because I knew we were going to have a 200th episode. So I got up at 3 a.m. because I had other things I had to do, Miss Marie. I got other products I had to package up and print out labels and all that stuff. And so I went to bed early and got up at 3, and she didn't start this until a few minutes ago, so I can tell what the rest of my day is going to be like.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things. It's the lifestyle that you've earned from building the network marketing business originally that you did, right? Which expanded into other things, which is easy to do, but it's one of the most appealing things about this industry, I think, for people, is that idea of being your own boss, being able to control your own time, not being beholden to someone else dictating the fact that you need to be in an office sitting at a desk between the hours of 8:30 and 5 p.m. It's like, you know what? A lot of life goes on during the day, and there are family and friends that need us, our fur babies, whatever it is. Sometimes you just need to be able to rearrange your schedule, and having that flexibility, having the ability to work your schedule around your life rather than trying to work your life around your schedule, I think is something that's really important. And one of the reasons that I love this industry personally and would love to see more people get engaged in it. I think there's a certain level of fear because there's a lot of personal responsibility that comes along with that, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's exciting. It's interesting. And it's fun to be part of this industry. And I'm excited to be part of this podcast for these 200 episodes that we've done together, and looking forward to the next 300 or so that we do, so we can celebrate episode 500.
Well, I hope that someday that you and I can relinquish these seats to focus on the bigger picture, because the only people that have the vision of the future are the originators. The podcast is just one step, Miss Marie, in a much larger picture. You know, when I sit down and put the game plan together, it wasn't just a podcast. The podcast was a growing medium, and I wanted to get in front of that. And the fact that you can combine a video with a podcast, because every video that you and I do goes into the podcast platforms, you know, mm-hmm. And so it goes out across the world. And of course, we all know about it. And I'm moving video, which is very time consuming. And it really, to be honest with you, a pain in the butt. I thought about hiring somebody to do it, but they probably will charge $5 a video. Well, hell, that's $1,500 to get the videos uploaded. You know what? I'll just take it and do 10 a day, and eventually I'll get there. Now, that's me being cheap, and that's the way I am. But, you know, when I'm doing other things, it doesn't hurt for me to upload videos, you know, and do 10 a day. But the thing is that between the videos and the audios, we're going to be able to reach a large audience. And it's just a matter of sticking with it. And as I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, I was talking to them yesterday, and they're kind of a social media guru. You know, I told them about my approach. You and I talked about it. I did not want to put a lot of money into advertising when we were first starting out. Number one, it's throwing away good money. You don't know if you have a product. If you can get an audience organically, then that tells you that you have an audience that you can chase with the proper advertising. You see what I'm saying? And you and I know there's 30 to 55 million network marketers across the globe. It's just a matter of getting in front of them. And in consistency in advertising is no different on the internet than it is on TV. You know, tastes good like a cigarette should. Do you know what commercial that is?
I don't remember. Was that the Marlboro or Winston?
That's Winston.
Winston. I was going to say, it sounds awful familiar. My dad was a Winston smoker, so.
The only reason that became a part of pulp culture and part of American society is because of that consistent message that never changed. You know, Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. They had a great slogan, and why change it? You know, just keep pushing it. Just keep pushing it. Just keep pushing it. And they would change commercials. In other words, they would change, you know, whether it was a cowboy riding on a horse or a car speeding through a raceway or whatever. The bottom line is, at the end of the commercial, it tastes Winston. It tastes good like a cigarette should. It was over and over. Well, that's no different than what you and I were doing. But, you know, Winston knew, the tobacco companies knew they had an audience, and they knew how to talk to that audience. Well, you and I are now learning those things along this 200 episodes. We're learning who our people are. We're learning what they're wanting to learn more about. And so our message will get more focused on the products and the information that they want. And, you know, this is about the future. And you and I will start bringing in leaders from all different companies and all different parts of the world and let them tell their story about their success, maybe even their failures if they feel comfortable. And that'll give people a unique insight into how each person, because Miss Marie, you and I say it all the time, there's more than one way to build this business. We think that ours is the most powerful and most proficient. There's no doubt about it. You know, it's based on the basic fundamental principles. But that doesn't mean that somebody else hasn't found a way to make this business model work for them. Or maybe somebody got caught lightning in a bottle. You know, it'd be interesting to hear those stories, and we'll have those people on our show. And it's not about promoting the 5 simple steps. It's about letting them tell their story. You know, because human success stories, are intriguing and interesting to people. And so people will get, you know, that aspect of it. And during the commercial breaks, if we're going to use that term, I'm not sure what to call it, we're going to focus in on the products that people have been downloading and wanting more information about. So we're going to be a lot more concise, a lot more structured, if you will. We won't ever lose the family atmosphere, but we will certainly be a lot more focused on getting the information people want into their hands. And that's what's going on. You know, I've set up sales funnels, if you will, that highlight those products, allow people to get access to it quickly and at a great deal. You and I will be offering deals, not all the time, but during certain podcasts, we're going to offer quite a discount. And on the discounts that are on the site right now, people better take advantage of them, Ms. Marie, because they're going to go away. They're going to be standard prices. The only way you can get a deal in the future is to be a part of the podcast, because we're going to give out a special code during that podcast that you can save up to 50%, maybe more. Right, Ms. Marie?
Yep, absolutely. I get in early.
That's right. That's right. Get your lifetime membership now while you can. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of exciting things coming down the road, and he agreed that the approach of not advertising at this time is a good one, because you're learning your audience. And I'll be honest with you, I'm an aggressive type person. I want it now. Boom. And it's not that I want the success now. I want the results now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about, hey, I want a large audience and I want it now. You know, I want to get up and do live events and I want to do them now. That's the type of person I am. But I have learned that you got to lay the foundation first, you know, like doing phase 1, 90-day mini blast, you know. So it's hard sometimes, you know. I have to pull back on the reins, and sometimes you have a supportive mate and sometimes you don't. And that can be a challenge, as you can imagine. Absolutely.
Yep. Well, we've got exciting things coming down the road, but our immediate future, as in tomorrow, we're going to be talking about something that I think a lot of folks are going to be super interested in. Get questions about it every once in a while. We are going to be talking about what does a fair and equitable compensation plan look like? Because ultimately, you want to make sure you're going to get paid, right? Mm-hmm. What's the Jerry Maguire line? Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Yep. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow on our podcast, 11 a.m. Eastern time, right here, Facebook, YouTube. You know, tweet it out, invite your team, invite anyone else you think may be interested. This is going to be a good one. And as always, you can find us using hashtag TheMLMSolution. That's hashtag TheMLMSolution. And of course, visit our website, TheMLMSolution.net. You can see previous podcasts there. You can check out the extensive library of information that Rob has curated for you. Tons of information out there.
Yep, there's the website right there. There's going to be new pictures too, Miss Marie. Hopefully here in the next couple of days that will be precise instead of these generic. This is a generic one, but there'll be precisely those pages highlighted in the very near future.
Awesome.
All right, Miss Marie, it's time to get off of here. And guys, we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much for everything. 200 episodes. It's because of you. It's not because of us. It's because of you. And we are grateful that you guys are supporting us, that you find what we talk about interesting, because we certainly love doing it. All right, Miss Marie, we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. Download our podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast platforms. Visit our website at www.TheMLMSolution.net for additional important information, show details, and past shows. Follow us on Parler, Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, or the get notified button while visiting our other social media platforms.